Hello everybody, this is Sarahscopic and you're watching an episode of ScopicPeeps. I unfortunately don't have a tea for you today, not because I've run out of teas to rate and talk about, it's not that, it's just that I'm in a bit of a time crunch in terms of recording today, and so I was trying to hurry up and I completely forgot to make myself a cup. So, I'm just no tea today, I apologize, so let's just get right to it this time. Last time I asked you, when you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up? And here were some of your answers. I wanted to be an archaeologist, which is funny considering the saga of the Sand Nagas, whoa, started with me wanting to expedite the archaeological process. So, I don't know, saga of the Sand Nagas. Can someone just continue with the saga of the Sand Nagas, please? Just whatever. This is better than anything I could have ever written. I wanted to be a reality star, actually. Basically, when I was a kid, I wanted to have my own TV channel that covered me 24/7 so that no one would miss out on all the funny moments in my life, and I'm still that egotistical today. I wonder if you interviewed YouTubers that are popular today, how many of them would answer in a similar fashion that they want to be some kind of reality TV star. Actually, I'm just kidding. I imagine if you ask most YouTubers, they would go down the same vein as most people who are comedians, which is that they actually don't like people and like to be away from people because they are super self-conscious, and humor was a way to get them out of their shell and a way for them to be able to cope with the fact that people are scary. So you're probably all wondering where I fall on that spectrum. You'll never know. Let's go on Facebook where, holy crap, once again, people really wanted to answer this question. So, let's see how many of these I go through. For the first time, I may not be responding to every single answer because there are way too many of you, and Editor-chan gets really mad with how many times she has to, make these... Listen, the process for getting your comments from Facebook onto the video is really arduous, and we're not going to talk about it. Let's just read these. Ruler of the galaxy with the superpower of being able to alter reality at will. Who didn't want to be that when growing up? Am I right? A ballerina slash painter slash teacher slash tiger. I would do teaching during the day and dance and paint at night. And also be a tiger. What is it with people wanting to be animals when they grew up? Did no one tell them how that worked? Social worker. Oh, that's what I am. Ballerina, then mortician, changed to electrician, then mechanic, and now I tint cars and I'm very cool with it. I know ballerina to mortician is a bit of an odd jump. I was a really weird kid. Don't worry, you're gonna find out a similar issue. Author or witch, they're basically the same thing. I am not gonna argue with that one. A scientist and an emperor. Well, if you're anything like in the Steins Gate series, that's pretty much what happens, so go check that out. A mom. Marine biologist, author, concept artist, film director. I'm seeing a connection with 3 of those, but I'm a marine biologist. An ice cream man! I'm not gonna argue with that. That sounds like an amazing job. A doctor, then later a mathematician, college degree in occupational therapy, but ended career as a telecommunications network analyst and the manager. You never know what career path you will end up following. That's a scary thought, considering I put all my money in school to be one thing, and then all of a sudden I'm not going to use any of that education for what I do. I don't know, that seems like a more terrifying thought for our generation. Is that just the millennial thing? We hear that all the time with, baby boomers, where, they studied one thing and they ended up doing something else. To me, that sounds actually kind of terrifying, because, you spend all that time and energy on one thing, and it's not even what you end up going into. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I wanted to be a zoologist and more explicitly a herpetologist. And no, people, they don't study herpes. A term no one uses anymore. Then I found out I'm allergic to all living things. Sucks to be you. Seriously. A lawyer. A rock. In this day and age, I think I want to be a rock too. I wanted to be a cat at the age of 3, but when I grew up, I wanted to be in the Marines. I know a guy who unironically answered this question in 4th grade with penguin. He is currently an engineer. Well, considering what the cat to the Marine jump, I'm not sure if now I'm kind of starting to see a pattern here. So penguins go to engineers, and cats go to Marines. Okay, I'm starting to get this. I wanted to be a thief or a pirate. When I realized that pirates weren't what I wanted to be like Sly Cooper or Artemis Fowl and use thievery for the greater good. Yay, Robin Hooding life, peeps. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that's an occupation. On The Sims it's an occupation. I guess you'd get paid for it, but... I wanted to be a teacher forever with a little 2-year stint of wanting to be an interior designer in middle school, and I was going to be a teacher until a month before student teaching. I know a guy where that happened to as well. A bug exterminator when I was 5, arachnophobia came out then, and a paleontologist after a certain infamous movie from the 90s about dinosaurs. I don't know what kind of movie you're talking about. There's a movie about dinosaurs? Superhero and firefighter. Well, you could say firefighters are our heroes, but I mean, superhero is probably way more efficient than a firefighter, let's be honest. And that's the end of the ones that I'm willing to read, because they were a lot. I apologize if I skipped over yours. It's nothing, no offense to you, it's just life happens, folks. Now, you're all probably wondering how I answer this question, and I will answer that I also was one of those people that went through a series of different choices for what I wanted to be, and pretty much was convinced I had no idea what I wanted to be, and then pretty much once I was in college realized, oh, this is it, found it. I'm not sure what I wanted to be when I was little. I know when I was really little, I was convinced I was going to be a singer like Britney Spears, and my dreams were shot down pretty quickly by my family. I was obsessed with Britney Spears at one point, and was pretty much told that that was almost impossible. And if I really wanted to do it, okay, cool, but it wasn't that easy. I really wanted to be like a songwriter at that point too, and so I thought I could write really good music. Of course, my music at the time was awful, because I was like 7, but I know there was at one point that happened. I know once I was in like elementary school and we had to answer this question more seriously with like research, I really thought I wanted to be a choreographer. I loved dancing. I didn't feel like I was that great at dancing, like skill-wise, but I loved creating, and so for me, I thought I'd be a really good choreographer, basically a dance teacher. I picked choreographer because I thought the name sounded cooler, but more of like a dance teacher. I liked making up dances and stuff like that. So that was one serious consideration I had. Later down the line, I had a very serious consideration of being a forensic scientist. I was obsessed with detectives, this Nancy Drew, and then I wasn't super obsessed with CSI, but I was obsessed with the idea of it and stuff like that. I got really into like mystery solving and forensic science and stuff like that, and even though I wouldn't say it necessarily lasted that long as far as a serious consideration of it, because that didn't go beyond like when I even graduated from high school, but it was a serious consideration because I bought a lot of books about it, and I read up a lot about forensic science. I was very convinced that was the field I was going to go into. Pretty much I changed my mind because we had a forensic science class you could take as like an elective in high school, and it was fun, but when I learned more about what it took to be one, it seemed like a whole lot of schooling that I really wasn't in the mood for. I was not a chemistry person, which was a huge issue. In biology, I didn't do so well in AP Bio, and I mean, I did fine, but not well enough that it really used like my talents, and I just kind of decided that really wasn't the field I was going to go into. When I entered college, my first like semester a year of college, I was pretty sure I wanted to maybe be like a composer, kind of like back when I was wanting to be a singer, because I really like composing music, but I kind of felt like I wasn't at the point I needed to be. I probably could have gone for it, but I'm not sure if I would have found a job in it. So that was one, and then I at one point thought I might be like a graphic designer. That was also kind of a job I had heavily considered. At one point, I was learning how to use like Photoshop and such, and people thought I was pretty decent at it. I really am not that decent at it, but I was decent enough that people liked my stuff, so whatever. So at one point I was heavily considering graphic design. Pretty much once I got through my first year of college, I realized that psychology was like definitely my field, and pretty quickly by like sophomore, junior year, I was like, no, I'm gonna be a psychologist. And then once I was graduated, I was like, oh, a social worker, that's the job I was made for. It's kind of funny because if you look at me back then when I was younger, it was very obvious I should have been a social worker. Like, just my attitude about life was very high social worker, but I also really loved creating things and stuff like that, and so that was kind of a hard thing. So yeah, that's kind of my weird divergent path into things. I haven't completely gotten rid of wanting to still be some kind of creator. I still kind of write music. I'm doing these, which takes, some kind of creativity, so that's still there, but it's a side thing. I don't think I could ever be an artist as, like, my main job. Not saying that there shouldn't be artists. I I commend people who want to get into that field. It's just not for me. It's not I don't think I have the right mind for going into it, so I'll just be a social worker. It's all good. Next question I am going to ask you is, besides the conventional cat and dog, if you could have any kind of exotic pet without the ramifications of ethical treatment and endangerment or whatever, like, pretend like those are not issues. If you could have any animal in the world as a pet, what would it be? Again, without the ethical considerations, endangered species, and, like, wildlife stuff. Just pretend in your magical world that you could have, like, any pet you desire. What would it be? Tell me in the comments below. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope something amazing happens to you. Without further ado, I hope to see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye!